right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Tonight, student survivor testifying on Capitol Hill about how she lived through the Uvalde school shooting.
So I grabbed the blood and put it all over me.
A much calmer start for your Thursday, but there are changes for Friday into the weekend. What you need to know as you make your outdoor plans.
But first, a father charged after his 1-year-old fatally ingests fentanyl.
Anytime a child is victimized, it breaks our heart.
Tonight, felony charges for a St. Louis County father. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Ann Allred. It is a horrible crime. It cost a 1-year-old son his life. Our Pepper Baker joins us live from Maryland Heights with the latest on this loss. Pepper.
And Mike, today 34-year-old Jerry Moorhead was charged with endangering children after his 1-year-old son ingested fentanyl and died back in January. And his 6-year-old daughter also tested positive for the deadly narcotic.
Had the father called 911, that may have made a difference.
Detective Richard White with the Maryland Heights Police Department recounts their investigation of 1-year-old Tyler Moorhead's death back in January.
The father of the 2 children, he was babysitting the 2 kids, and he was playing video games most of that late afternoon. He noticed that his little boy, Tyler, was unresponsive, and it was brought to his attention by his daughter, his 6-year-old daughter.
White says fentanyl was on the floor of the apartment when 34-year-old Jerry Moorhead's son got a hold of it.
This 1-year-old had ingested fentanyl and had died of fentanyl suffocation, intoxication. We did find evidence inside the apartment of opioid addiction, and he was investigated and subsequently charged with the child endangerment.
A lot of times when you are addicted to those substances, you are using while you're still caring for your children, and that puts your children at risk.
Amy Robbins with the Child Advocacy Center of Northeast Missouri interviews children involved in parental drug abuse cases.
We have had children, very young children, ask us for belts to demonstrate how to shoot up heroin specifically. We've had them ask us for dollar bills so they can show us how to roll that and how to snort cocaine.
White says drug users often keep the opioid reversal drug Narcan on hand, which the father tried to use on his son.
He did attempt to use it. He did. Unfortunately, it did not have an effect.
The father's mother picked them up from Maryland Heights, drove to South City to the toddler's grandfather's house before rushing the boy to Cardinal Glennon. And by then, it was too late.
The hospital staff said that the child was cold to the touch, so cold they couldn't even get a body temperature on the child. So that tells us the child had been deceased for some time.
White says fentanyl is 80 to 100 times stronger than morphine. Even just touching a little bit of it is enough to get into your system and kill you, let alone a child. Live in Maryland Heights, Pepper Baker, 5 on your side.
Chilling and gut-wrenching testimony today on Capitol Hill. Lawmakers heard from a 4th grader who survived the Uvalde school shooting, where 19 of her classmates and 2 teachers were killed in the massacre. Mia Cirillo told them how she survived by pretending to be dead.
He shot my friend that was next to me, and I thought he was gonna come back, so I grabbed the blood and put it all over me.
Her father and the parents of one of her slain classmates made a plea to lawmakers. All of this comes as negotiations on gun reform legislation continue.
Schools are not safe anymore. Something needs to really change.
So today, we stand for Lexi, and as her voice, we demand action.
Among demands heard today, an assault weapons ban, raising the legal purchase age, and strengthening background checks.
Tonight, teachers in East St. Louis joined community leaders in reflecting on the lives lost in Uvalde. They also remembered the victims of other mass shootings across the nation. Our Brent Solomon has more on their call to lawmakers to pass tougher gun control measures. Brent.
Mike, when you hear of these events playing out over and over again, it can take a toll. That's the message from an East St. Louis community who believes something can be done to put an end to it.
So what about the children?
It's a question on the minds of East St. Louis neighbors who can't help but grieve at the thought of 19 children, 2 teachers, killed at school in Uvalde, Texas.
It's a time when we pray for the lives of our children.
It's why they gathered outside of the Federation of Teachers building Wednesday, wearing orange to stand in solidarity. The recent mass shootings from Texas to New York to Oklahoma have them all saying enough.
We need our Congress people, our senators, our elected officials to take a stand.
It won't end until we, as citizens, let them know that we're not going to take it anymore.
Sherry Tolson works at Dunbar Elementary School. It's emotional because she realizes these shootings could have happened anywhere. It's why she takes her job working with young kids so seriously.
A lot of times they're not getting that support that they need. Situations that people are going through on the inside that cause them to lash out, or things that can be prevented if there's somebody there for them.
She came here to reflect on the lives lost, joining her neighbors in praying for the victims.
I plead the blood of Jesus when you're in the supermarket.
In the end, a balloon release signifying unity and hope for better days.
So what about the children? To ignore it is so.
This evening's event was called A Time for Healing. Area ministers were on hand praying for the community to do just that, heal, and somehow move forward following the unimaginable.
Brent, thanks. One of 3 escaped inmates from Southwest Missouri is back in police custody tonight. Christopher Blevins was arrested in Wyoming today. Police spotted him at a truck stop. Officers say he led them on a short chase before surrendering. Lance Stevens and Matthew Crawford remain at large and are considered to be armed and dangerous. The trio escaped the Berry County Jail last week through holes they cut into the ceiling of their cell.
More talks of corruption at City Hall tonight. Mayor Tashara Jones says she is troubled by the latest allegations of misconduct against high-ranking city officials after Board of Aldermen President Lewis Reed resigned. Mayor Jones spoke for the first time today since the scandal unfolded last week. The Board of Aldermen President Lewis Reed, former Alderman John Collins Muhammad, and former Vice President Jeffrey Boyd have all been indicted and slapped with federal bribery charges. Mayor Jones says the problem runs deeper than just a few individuals.
Let me be absolutely clear. No one wins in this situation. When politicians break the law to serve themselves instead of the people they were elected to serve, everyone loses.
The mayor's office says she has not been contacted by the FBI, but believes their investigation is far from over.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page is addressing allegations of government corruption in his county. Federal charges were filed yesterday against Tony Weaver Sr., an official at the county jail. The FBI says agents caught him on a wire trying to rig applications for federal COVID funds. According to the indictment, Weaver urged a business owner to lie and say his company was closed down so he'd qualify for loans.
The attempt to defraud county government failed, and no funds were lost or inappropriately awarded. As it stands today, it looks like our processes and procedures worked well.
Weaver faces 4 counts of wire fraud. Each carries up to 20 years in prison and fines up to $250,000. Starting July 1st, Franklin County drivers no longer need an emissions test to register their vehicles.
People have different views on whether this is a good move for the environment and your car. New tonight, Ryan Henson has more on what led to the change.
Starting in July, there will be one less step for drivers trying to register vehicles in Franklin County. Over the past 20 years, ground-level ozone concentrations in the St. Louis region have steadily declined, making it possible to pursue the removal of the emissions test. The Missouri Air Conservation Commission adopted an amendment to the state regulation in January 2022. Osage Street Garage owner Kevin Schwarzkopf says the change won't cut into his business profits unless there's something wrong.
If a car comes in with a problem and it fails emissions and then you have to diagnose it, repair it, whatever the case may be.
The owner of Osage Street Garage says his biggest concern now that the test is going away is that drivers won't maintain their vehicle properly. Schwarzkopf is specifically talking about drivers ignoring the check engine light.
Some of them affect the car's performance and the way the car runs and can cause engine damage. Some of them are really mainly more about pollution than they are about anything else.
Tom Nicholson knows a thing or two about vehicles. He says this will have a smaller impact than most people think. With safety inspections still in place, eliminating emissions checks will be one less hurdle between getting your vehicle's registration.
I think less time should be spent on worrying about, hey, we should have emissions testing for all these vehicles, and more time should be spent on where can we put our money to give people utilities where they don't have to drive those vehicles to create those emissions in the first place.
Eliminating the test could save drivers money who fall victim to catalytic converter theft.
Going to have to go spend $300, $400, $500 on that catalytic converter, or $1,000 for one on a big pickup truck, and then have to pay a shop to put it in, when you can go down to a muffler shop for $100 and have them just put a piece of exhaust pipe to connect the two back together.
Ryan Henson, 5 on your side.
You can find more details about the Gateway Vehicle Inspection Program and this new exemption on KSDK.com.
Just hours ago, a tornado hit an Ohio warehouse. What workers heard just before a wall collapsed. On the road again. High gas prices are not slowing down plans for summer road trips. The 4 ways to save on gas.
The air conditioner gets a break overnight, but it'll be put to the test next week. The pattern change that's heading our way.
Tonight, a suspected tornado caused a major collapse at a warehouse near Dayton, Ohio. The roof and back wall collapsed at a distribution center for Meijer, a grocery and retail chain. There are no reports of injuries. Workers inside said the lights flickered before they heard a loud boom. They didn't realize part of the building collapsed until they evacuated after the storm. At least 3 people are dead after a fiery chain reaction crash in Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Police say there were at least 3 pileups, one involving 8 semis and 3 cars. A large plume of black smoke was visible for miles. Interstate 3 was closed for several hours. The cause of the crash is still under investigation.
Tonight, a California man is behind bars charged with attempted murder after he was found with several weapons near Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's Maryland home. Police say they found a gun, a tactical knife, pepper spray, and zip ties on Nicholas Roski. According to investigators, he said he wanted to kill Kavanaugh. The arrest comes after a leaked U.S. Supreme Court draft opinion that would overturn Roe v. Wade. In less than 24 hours from now, the January 6th Select Committee will begin its hearings in prime time. This will be the first of 6 hearings. The committee has been investigating the January 6th breach at the U.S. Capitol. We're told to expect documents and witness accounts the public has not seen before. You can watch the hearing tomorrow night at 7 here on 5 on Your Side.
Tonight, the national price of gas is inching close to $5 a gallon. Today, the price hit $4.95. That's almost $2 more than this time last year. 16 states are now averaging more than $5 per gallon, and that includes Illinois. Metro East drivers are paying on average $5.12. On the St. Louis side, gas is around $4.59. We're making it easier for you to find the cheapest places to fill up in our area. Just text the word gas to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you the list within seconds. Despite record gas prices, a whopping 90% of us have summer travel plans this summer, including road trips. Consumer Reports has tips to help you save money, stay safe, and manage those unexpected bumps in the road. If you're looking forward to a road trip, Consumer Reports says getting there can still be half the fun, even with sky-high gas prices.
When you're filling up in unfamiliar places, apps and websites like Waze and Gas Guru can give you real-time prices at nearby gas stations.
And Consumer Reports says you should also think about how you'll pay for that gas.
While many gas stations will offer you a lower price if you pay in cash, a credit card with cashback rewards may actually be a better deal, especially if you're paying more for gas than you normally would in a month.
And while you won't be charged to check a bag when road tripping, it is still a good idea to pack light so your car isn't heavier and therefore less fuel efficient than it needs to be.
And you can make your car more fuel efficient by reducing aerodynamic drag. You can take off your bike rack and your roof rack if you're not using them. And don't hate me, but if you just stick to the speed limit, you'll also save on fuel.
Consumer Reports tests show that cruising at 75 miles per hour instead of 65 miles per hour can cost 6 miles per gallon or more. And driving the speed limit is also safer.
Speaking of safety, if you have mechanical trouble or a flat tire far from home, you'll appreciate having roadside assistance, and it may save you money. Paying out of pocket for long-haul towing can run in the hundreds of dollars, while most roadside assistance plans cost around $35 to $120 per year. Some newer cars come with roadside assistance for a period, and a few credit cards and auto insurance policies included. Just make sure you're covered before you hit the road.
While you're packing, be sure to pack rapid antigen COVID-19 tests, N95 masks, and hand sanitizer. If you do get sick while traveling, head home. And if you're too far away, quarantine in a hotel and mask up and order food in.
The Susan G. Komen More Than Pink Walk is this weekend. Tonight was the last night participants could pick up their T-shirts before Saturday's walk, which benefits breast cancer research. Only breast cancer survivors and those who raised $100 or more are eligible for the shirts. This year, not only is the walk being held in person again, it's taking place in a new location, Tower Grove Park, and everyone is welcome.
We are going to be on the east end, which is near Grand, and we're by the Stoop Center or Sons of Rest Pavilion.
If you still need to pick up your shirt, you can get it Saturday at Tower Grove Park. The site opens at 7:30 a.m. Opening ceremony kicks off at 9 a.m.
If you ever wanted to take a swing and hit one out of Busch Stadium, here's your chance. The Cardinals and Upper Deck Golf are turning the ballpark into a driving range for 3 days in November. This is video from a similar event in 2019. There will be driving, chipping, and putting challenges. Tickets go on sale next month, but you can reserve early access now. We've posted a link in the As Seen on TV section at KSDK.com.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell, we are going to get some reprieve and then back to tracking that rain.
You know, we've got a break from the rain. Most of us didn't have a lot going on this afternoon rainfall-wise, but look at this beautiful rainbow. You got to have some rain to get a rainbow. Teresa Brown shot this from Alton, and that rain was just off to the east of Alton. Had a little cluster of showers and a couple of rumbles of thunder drifting on through. You can see it sliding on by. The main area of showers and storms long gone from our area, and now drier air is filtering in. Just kind of a closer inspection. You can see over the last couple of hours that one lone cell as it just tracked off towards the southeast pretty quickly and then getting out of our area and dissipating altogether. Skies are starting to clear. 71 degrees right now. It's pretty comfortable. We have a little breeze out of the northwest at 6. That's bringing in some drier air. The dew point's dropped to 60 now. It'll go down into the 50s overnight tonight, that dew point will, and stay there tomorrow. 81 was our high today, 69 the low. We may drop below that before we get past the official observation cutoff point tonight. And tomorrow morning, we're definitely comfortable. Absolutely gorgeous. Temperatures in the 50s outside of the city, around 60 in town. Quick warm up though tomorrow with bright skies all day long. Temperatures climb back into the lower 80s with low humidity and clouds starting to roll in late in the day. That'll set the stage for our next chance of rain as we head into Friday. Now, thinking is at the moment that most of the showers early on will be with a cluster that's kind of dying out over the Ozarks. So we have to wait until later in the day, and then we'll see more scattered showers, perhaps a rumble of thunder. But it's important to note there is a lot of dry time on Friday. It is not a washout. And this weekend looks dry too. Spirit of St. Louis Air Show and STEM Expo happening. Already have some of the Blue Angels making their way into town. Blue Angel 7's already here. 82 degrees on Saturday for the high. Sunday's 89. There are 2 air shows, I believe, both days. Now, look at this pattern change going into next week. All we can say is enjoy how comfortable it is tonight, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. This is going to be a massive blob of hot air. In fact, just to give you an idea of what we're looking at, the potential heat index values we're talking about here come Tuesday afternoon, maybe again on Wednesday afternoon, 100, 104, 105 degrees. Yeah, we're getting into heat and humidity big time next week. And, you know, we're being kind of reserved on our forecast high. It could be a little bit higher than what we're showing there. 82 for your Thursday high. It is comfortable. It's delightful. Savor every minute of it. A chance for scattered showers and storms Friday. Gorgeous Saturday. Starts to heat up Sunday. And then all next week looks hot and mainly dry. You know, when it's hot and humid like this, you can't completely rule out an isolated storm. Doesn't look like there's a big chance, though, for anything organized.
That was a lot of magenta.
Yes, and we don't like magenta in the summer. No.
Thanks, Scott. Sports with Frank next.
Well, Mike, you are going to meet the only woman in the world who's a professional wrestler and a dentist. We have the Cardinals in Tampa and one player finding a stroke, and Phil Mickelson is back. Tyler O'Neill was arguably your best offensive player last season. Through the first 2 months of this season, he's been your worst, but he's healthy now. However, Tyler was about the only thing positive on this Wednesday night in Tampa. Fourth inning, 5-0 Rays, and Tyler goes deep. It's an opposite field blast, and I love this. He channels his inner Scott Rowland and will just put his head down and sprint around the bases. Then in the sixth inning, with the bases loaded, he's going to single to center. It scores Tommy Edman and Nolan Gorman. But it was a brutal night for the Cardinals. How about this one? Randy Arozarena grounds to T.J. McFarland. He thought that there were 2 outs. There was 1, a run scores. One cool thing, Yadier Molina pitched, and he got a strikeout. He had a scoreless inning. Rays win 11-3. Game 3 of the NBA Finals in Boston tonight. The Chaminade grad, Jason Tatum, has had an incredible playoff so far, and tonight he has 26 points, and Boston leads it 110-98 in the fourth quarter. Phil Mickelson is back. He will tee it up tomorrow in London in the first ever Live Tour event. Major champion winners Bryson DeChambeau and Patrick Reed are now in also. The rumor is Phil is guaranteed about $200 million for joining this tour sponsored by Saudi Arabia. Mickelson went out of his way to give his thoughts on human rights today at the press conference.
I don't condone human rights violations. I don't know how I can be any more clear. I understand your question. But again, I love this game of golf. I've seen the good that it's done, and I see the opportunity for Live Golf to do a lot of good for the game throughout the world, and I'm excited to be a part of this opportunity.
Hey, I want you to take a look at this 31-year-old wrestler named Britt Baker. She's coming to town as part of All Elite Wrestling Stop in St. Louis next Wednesday at Shavitz. She's a former champion and incredibly athletic. Every week for the last 7 years, Britt has been delivering collisions and hurtling her body at the opposition. Her day job is kind of interesting. It's dentistry. Yes, graduated from the University of Pittsburgh Dental School, Britt sees patients about 3 days a week in Orlando. That job is a bit more quiet than the other one, but doesn't have the emotional ups and downs she gets from life in the ring.
Once you come out of the tunnel and you hear the crowd, you hear your music play, I hear them chanting DMD. There's nothing better than it. But at the same time, you don't want to let those fans that are going crazy, you don't want to let them down ever. So anytime I feel like I had a less than performance, or that if I'm injured and I can't perform, it's really a bummer. It's a roller coaster for sure.
You may know by now the story of the late Justin Hardy, the 22-year-old basketball player who had an incredible season playing with stage 4 stomach cancer for Washington U this past season. Well, today, an anonymous donor made a pledge of $500,000 to endow the Justin Hardy Courage Fund in Wash U. To encourage support, the donor has committed another $500,000 to match tribute gifts by others. Wash U's website has more information. And that will do it in sports. I'm Frank Cusimano.
He was an inspiration. All right, Frank, thanks.
Amazon makes billions. The millions the e-commerce giant is spending to ensure the products you buy are legit.
The annual Folds of Honor campaign, sponsored by Schnucks, is now underway. From now until July 4th, you can round up at the register. Money raised goes towards scholarships for spouses and children of fallen and wounded service members. 5 on Your Side is a proud partner of the campaign. Amazon is cracking down on counterfeiters. Last year, the e-commerce giant spent nearly $1 billion in its efforts. Amazon seized more than 3 million counterfeit products and blocked 4 billion items from its site. The company says it's also working to teach customers how to spot a fake.
Movie theaters are finally making a post-COVID comeback, but now they could be facing a popcorn shortage. That's because there are shortages of the lining used inside popcorn bags and the oil used to pop the corn. Since theaters sell popcorn at a massive markup, they rely on it and other concessions for most of their profit margins.
Well, you know her from Ozark. Now Julia Garner reportedly has a new role, the Material Girl. Variety is reporting the actress has been offered the lead in a biopic about Madonna. Guess what? The pop icon is directing the movie about herself. Garner won 2 Emmys for her role as Ruth Langmore in the Netflix crime drama Ozark.
No pressure. You're going to play me as I direct you.
Right.
And you have to be Madonna.
But she really is fabulous.
She is. And she's got the hair.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
His guests tonight, Jeff Goldblum and Miranda Lambert.